Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. And this is your week of November 17th and the following 7 days. So when we pull this chart up here, there it is. We've got Jupiter and Saturn and the sun right up front. We're still in this very strong water trine, right? So when there's water trine energy in general, something easily occurs. So it's the degrees of the water in your chart, what you're looking for. Like, do I have something near these? 2 degrees before, 2 degrees after. If so, things will kind of easily occur, right? And sometimes they're really positive things that you wanted to have happen. And other times it might not be such great positive things. It might be things you wish didn't happen. However, we're going to take a look. So Scorpio energy, we've got the sun at 25 in Scorpio. We've got a couple of objects here. Nemesis and Vulcan at 29 degrees in Scorpio. So what's Scorpio energy? You know what Scorpio is. It's intense. It's about deep, powerful emotions. There can be traumas, wounds from the past. Scorpio is ultimately like the healer of the zodiac, but it doesn't come without the battles. There have been battles, there have been wounds, right? Yeah, this is complex energy, very deeply psychological energy. That's Scorpio stuff. Well, Venus is here at 13 to begin off the week. Venus is behind the sun. Feel shared values. Shared values. This is natural resources. We think, of course, those rare earth minerals, like things that the big tech companies need for their tech to work, that kind of stuff, right? And this is, of course, is insurance money as well. Inheritances. It's our values, our shared values, our shared risks, our shared assets. That's all Scorpio stuff. Also, really extremely psychic energy. There's a lot of the esoteric, the connecting with the other side and talking about or showing us things, revealing things that were buried, because that's the drill baby drill. And I don't mean it would, that is really like a Scorpio term, but that's more of a very, just a very basic way of talking about Scorpio energy, that it's like, oh, drill, baby, drill, like it's just all about that. No, 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 no. It's so much more. So much more. It's about the things that are not even in the material, tangible realm, not in the material, tangible world. It's about the unseen. That's the other part of Scorpio energy. And so it will show us things that have been buried deep, things that are in our past, in our history. Pluto is the ruler, right? Mars and Pluto. So with that, we look over at the other part of the trine, and what we have, look at, in a trine with Saturn, long-term financial security, material, tangible, goals, rules, structure, discipline, order, organizing, restructuring, responsibilities, work, all Saturn keywords. So we see the money lining up with boss energy, with Saturn, with these are the new rules, these are the goals, this is what we got to hit. This is like corporation energy. It's money and finances, insurance money, taxes, and what's the other T for Scorpio? Because I'm getting really tired of talking about it. Tariffs. That's exactly trining. And the sun is an authority figure, but Venus will trine the Saturn this week, towards the end of the week. You'll have Venus getting closer where she's in a trine with Saturn. Okay. So authority figure sun, we think of people who are in charge, right? Whether that's in businesses and government, but people who have pretty decent amount of power, right? Scorpio energy. There's some power there. Definitely authority figure, energy, boss. This is politicians and public figures, and probably some of that Epstein talk for sure. And Jupiter in a retrograde that it just began, where Jupiter is exalted in Cancer energy, when we talk about the public and homes and family and women, But the unifying factor that Jupiter can bring with the public, the unifying factor, and something good happening for the public. And we think of justice and judges big time. And with this retrograde, let the justice, truly the rights of the law, the rule of law, let the rule of law stand, and let it speak volumes, and let it be enforced. Let it be enforced. So that takes me to Mars, because whenever you say the word enforced, right, we see that now Mars is in Saggy. We talked about this the previous week. Mars is going to go about 4 degrees. So it's still in Saggy. It's only going to get to 13 degrees, 14 degrees at the most. And this again is more justice energy. This is travel. This is the airlines, and we think of the air traffic controllers, and we think of the government shutdown. These days with politics and public figures, I think it's very hard to be predictable and to read a forecast on that. But this Mercury, who has started a retrograde at 6 in Saggy, you see Mercury's here at 2, right? And by Saturday, so in about 5-6 days, Mercury's going to enter Scorpio. So you're feeling this big shift in justice and fairness and optimism and freedom and beliefs and hope. You're feeling a big shift when your mind, Mercury, and what you're learning and talking about and communicating about Mercury, when Mercury goes into Scorpio. Authority figures, person in charge, right? This can be a military thing that we're hearing from, possibly because it's Scorpio. Shared assets, money and values and insurance stuff, likely a big part of it. But just expect some intense, feisty change, even in what your thoughts are and in the way that you're communicating, starting on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so then that takes us into the weekend. When the sun is traveling through Saggy, we're thinking about the future. We want to make plans about the future. We're focused on our beliefs. We're focused on our freedoms, our religious freedom, our rights, right? Our body autonomy. We're really focused on that stuff. That becomes a highlight in our life, becomes part of what we're kind of zeroed in. Now, remember, Saggy has that racehorse energy. It can turn out, it can kind of put up a blinder to this side, put up a blinder to that side, and it can be really zeroed in and be very productive. It's very physical energy as well. Okay. So once we come upon Saturday and Sunday, you've got Venus like at 21 degrees in Scorpio, and you've got Mercury at like 24 degrees. So they're already conjunct. So this is a meeting up, a pairing of Venus and Mercury together. Venus likes to bring gifts. Okay. She's usually about beauty and about peace and harmony. So it can bring about some communications that we're having, but Scorpio is the opposite. It's not about being peaceful and harmonious. But the beauty is, Mercury's already in feisty Scorpio. So if Venus comes along, these two are sisters. So there is a compatibility that they'll be able to connect and have deeply meaningful discussions, deeply meaningful conversations. Shit can be healing. We have an opportunity to talk about stuff from the past, things we maybe didn't have words for, right? It's an opportunity to bond energetically. It's an opportunity to dissolve old wounds because we're giving voice to them. Like there's recognition, there's acknowledgement, there's a coming together, there's a oneness even when we think about sibling and friends and peers. There's a bonding in the Scorpio energy, and there's also a release because that's what Scorpio does. It's big on that. Remember, it's the healer. It's the healer of the zodiac. Beneficial for those of you who have objects in Cancer at 22 and 23. And look, Jupiter will still be sitting here at 25 degrees. Actually, Jupiter will click to 24, actually. Jupiter is going to be at 24, which will provide the healing, the release, the empathy, the compassion to heal. Like to truly heal and to truly surrender and to truly let go. Like that's a possibility. Okay. So in your chart, you're looking for 22, 23, 24 degrees, and even 25 degrees in water, because this beautiful, beautiful water trine, this beautiful grand water trine that can provide a healing, provide a release, provide understanding, and forgiveness. Pisces energy can provide that forgiveness of wounds from the past. And that may provide an opportunity for people to let bygones be bygones, but to go forward together in a way where we acknowledge and recognize what the other person was going through. And it doesn't mean that my belief has to be your belief or your belief has to be my belief. It's the understanding of the beautiful diversity and differences and moving forward together, embracing that. That is the power of this beautiful energy. And before I forget, there's a separate video, but there is on the 20th, there is a new moon in Scorpio at 28 degrees. That's on the 20th. Right. So go check out the other video if you want to know more about that. 28 degrees Scorpio, a new moon.